Hikers come to Mount Qixing carrying backpacks and water bottles. However, some of them are different. They climb barefoot or carry photographic equipment. Today, I met a girl. She was carrying a cello.
A submarine volcanic eruption near Taiwan took place about 100 years ago, as the Marian Dufresne sailed through the waters below Mount Datun. This area was belonged to the Southern Okinawa Trough, which was nearby the last volcanic eruption at 1916 in Taiwan. The Earth uses fire, rock and lighting like an axe and pulls open the ground.
I have climbed 4 mountains: Mount Zuzi, Mount Datun, Mount Qixing, and Mount Huangzui. This is the 3rd pair of shoes I have worn out. The more it rains, the more veins of andesite rocks are revealed. Which stories of andesite rocks will I learn from Mount Datun today? Volcanoes have been my favorite thing since I was little. Now I research volcanoes. You can call me Xiaolai.
Today, while I was walking in Mount Qixing, I met a boy. He looked curiously at the cello on my shoulder. I smiled and looked at the hammer in his hand. After we got to know each other, he decided to carry my cello, and I took his hammer. I am Jenny. Which melody will ring in Mount Datun today? When did the Datun Volcano Group begin to erupt?
Hundreds of millions of years ago, the Earth's ancient continental plates were formed. These plates began to shift and gradually became the Earth's 7 great tectonic plates. Lava surged up from the fractures between the plates, forming new oceanic crust, which is the so-called mid-ocean ridge. The upwelling lava pushed the old plates on both sides of the mid-ocean ridges away. The oceanic plates were comparatively heavy and pushing outward. They were eventually forced beneath the continental plates through a process called subduction.
Wow, you know so much about volcanoes.
About this place, high-temperature molten lava converged and rose. When it bursts forth onto the surface of the Earth, volcanoes are formed, usually arranged in the shape of an arc. They are called a volcanic island arc. Among the active volcanoes that have a history of eruption, 400 are scattered along the convergent plate boundaries. Because so many volcanoes are located around the rim of the Pacific Ocean, we call this region the Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire? That must be a very beautiful fiery ring.
Right, but it is not only extremely beautiful, it is also extremely dangerous when a volcano erupts.
Is Taiwan part of this Ring of Fire?
Taiwan is on the western side of the Pacific Ring of Fire. 2.5 million years ago, the Philippine Sea Plate began subducting in a northerly direction under the Eurasian Plate, forming an island arc that produces magma. Since Taiwan is located in an arc-continent collision zone, the stress of the collision makes it difficult for magma to rise to the surface. 1 million years ago, because of the westward spreading of the southern Okinawa Trough, the compressive stresses on Taiwan resulted in the terrain in the Mount Datun area collapsing. Through this, lava rose. Approximately 800,000 years ago, vast amounts of lava erupted to the surface through fissures in the subsided area. 4 main subgroups, Mount Zuzi, Datun, Qixing, and Huangzui began erupting, and the Datun Volcano Group gradually took shape. This is how the Datun Volcano Group evolved.
So the mountains around northern Taipei are formed in this way?
Yes, indeed. This was the most fierce and dramatic outburst of volcanic activity in Taiwan's geological history.
Wow!
With the highest point at an elevation of 1,120 meters, Mount Qixing is the highest volcano in Yamingshan National Park. At its base, its diameter is 2,100 meters. The body of the volcano is composed of alternating layers of pyroclastic rock and lava. We call this a composite volcano. The top of Mount Qixing consists of a crater with a diameter of 370 meters and a depth of 70 meters. The rim of the crater has been weathered into 7 bell-shaped lava domes. Fumaroles on the west side of the volcano are still quite active.
I know! This is where we just climbed, Xiaoyou-kun, right?
Right.
You just said that Mount Qixing is the highest volcano in Yamingshan National Park. Which one is the second highest?
The second highest mountain in Yamingshan National Park is Mount Zuzi, at a height of 1,094 meters. Like Mount Qixing, it is also a composite volcano. In the Datun Volcano Group, Mount Zuzi covers the largest area. Mount Datun has an elevation of 1,092 meters and is a composite volcano that extends in a north-south direction. The crater at the top of Mount Datun has eroded away completely, creating a fine place from which to admire the sunset and the flowering silvergrass. Mount Huangzui has an elevation of 912 meters, and its base is 2,000 meters in diameter. It has the best preserved crater in the Datun Volcano Group. The crater has a diameter of 450 meters and a depth of 80 meters. LiDAR models of the Datun Volcano Group reveal that there is a ring-shaped ridge on the western and southern sides of Mount Huangzui and Mount Dajianhou. The ridge is the remnants of an even earlier volcanic eruption and is the rim of a caldera. This landform was created when the eruption of lava emptied the magma chamber under the volcano, which collapsed to form this caldera. Mount Huangzui and Mount Dajianhou are 2 new volcanoes that later formed within the caldera. There were 2 eruptions, an earlier eruption and then another one later on. We term it a volcano cluster when volcanoes form in the same place. This wasn't the only volcanic cluster in the Datun Volcano Group. Older craters were destroyed by later volcanic activity. For instance, Mount Miantian, Mount Shangtian, Mount Erzi, and Mount Caigongken. It is very likely that this group of so many conical volcanoes is another volcanic cluster.
Wow, nature is really strange and wonderful.
She was born 800,000 years ago. Nowadays, all mankind listen her whispering eternally.
The Earth is like an egg in structure. The innermost layer is the yolk. The middle layer, the Earth's mantle, is the egg white. And the shell is the thin, brittle crust. Like an eggshell, the crust can break into a large number of fragments. With a temperature of over 1,000 degrees Celsius, the mantle produces magma.
That is really hot.
Because magma is relatively light, when gas bubbles expand, buoyancy is generated and magma rises. The great force began striking the hard rock above it. Solid rock started shaking violently up and down and sideways. With an ear-shattering roar, the lava burst out of cracks while the land caved in. As you walk alongside of the hot steam of Shaoyouken, you will feel as if you have returned to the site of the eruption 800,000 years ago. And beneath your feet, the immense power of the Earth is churning and grinding as it prepares to erupt again at any time. There is a lava dam lake in between Mount Datun and Mount Qixing. Does anyone know what it is? That's right, it's Zuzihu. After the lake water dried up, people have used the area to cultivate flowers and vegetables. Who else has a question?
Me!
All right, the adorable young lady over there. What's your question?
Can we fry eggs over a volcano?
Can we fry eggs over a volcano? Generally speaking, at around what temperature do we fry eggs?
50 degrees Celsius!
But when there is a volcanic explosion, the temperature can reach more than 1,000 degrees. Both your pan and the eggs will melt at that temperature, so you won't be able to eat the eggs. Anyone else?
Wow, what beautiful calla lilies.
They are very beautiful.
That is Mount Qixing, right?
Right. That is Mount Qixing. This is Mount Datun. And this one here is Mount Shaoguanying. Many hot springs and active fumaroles can be found in the area centered around the Datun Volcano Group. Starting from Diregu near Beitou and head northeast past Liuhuanggu, Longfenggu, the Zhongshan Hall, 小油坑, 马槽, 大油坑, 巴烟, 庚子坪, and 死黄子坪 to Wanli and Jingsan in Taipei County. In the Datun Volcano Group, Dayouken has the most noticeable sulfur fumaroles. Once, this was one of the important sources of sulfur in Taiwan. This is Yamingshan National Park. Streams are hidden behind luxuriant maculus trees. Crested serpent eagles and blue magpies hover in the sky. Taiwan isoettes and Iliocaris congesta subspecies japonica thrive between the lakes. Lava pouring in from Mount Zhugao formed the Qingtiangang grassland long ago. The near but yet distant volcanoes almost seem to be part of the azure sky. Japan lies geographically north of the Datun Volcano Group, and the Philippines and Indonesian archipelago lie to the south. Japan has the Unzen volcano, and Philippines has Mount Pinatubo, and Indonesia has Mount Merapi. Their eruptions in the 20th century caused enormous damage. Located on an island arc, volcanic Taiwan is very fortunate. Even the youngest volcano in the Datun Volcano Group has been dormant for a long time. All that remains is Taiwan's unique sulfur hot springs and volcanic scenery.
Will the Datun Volcano Group erupt again?
In recent years, scientists have made two very important discoveries concerning the Datun Volcano Group. One discovery is that the ratio of helium isotopes in volcanic fumes is very similar to that found in gases in the volcanic areas of nearby Japan and the Philippines. The second discovery is that according to the long-term seismic records, there are many micro-earthquakes in the Datun Volcano Group area, especially around Mount Qixing and Dayouken. These two pieces of information directly suggest that a magma chamber still exists, and the Datun Volcano Group can be regarded as a dormant volcano. The Datun Volcano Group does not present an immediate threat of eruption. However, it is still capable of generating magma. So the question is then, will its volcanoes erupt again? Will the spreading of the southern Okinawa Trough cause the magma chamber to gradually shrink? Or will the lava erupt because of the increase in fissures in the Earth's crust? Our scientists are working hard to collect precise data that will allow these two questions to be answered.